Good afternoon. Welcome to Async API community meeting. I think we started live stream already. Let me confirm with YouTube. Hey, Missy. Okay, so we have it started properly. So just before we start, folks, since a few meetings, we are running this community meeting like all other meetings, also as a live stream. So you don't have to join on the Zoom if you don't want to. You can just listen to the meeting through the live stream or on all our social media. But just remember, if you want to ask a question in the chat, then just use YouTube live stream. And yeah, that's it if it comes to the intro. So before we jump into the agenda of the meeting, anyone has some questions before? Like you wanna just ask your question and leave and not stay till the end of the meeting?
I don't have a question, but I won't stay for the whole meeting anyway.
So you want to ask it now, or?
No, I don't have any question. So
you don't have any question. Okay, I thought you have a question, but you want to stay anyway. So okay, so that's good that there are no questions, no surprises. Then let me share the agenda with you, people. Hi, Pedro. Okay, so the link is sent in the chat. So there are a few subjects I want to update you folks on. So the conference 2022. If you did not notice our announcement, we summarized the votes provided by the community on the conference. So unfortunately, because I didn't want to go to Barcelona, but yeah, unfortunately Barcelona won. And so we're gonna go to Spain, Barcelona this year. And interesting that the selection is on the date. It's between 3rd and 5th of November, which means Thursday, Saturday, which is interesting. I think it's driven also by also it would be actually strange that people want to watch live stream during Saturday, but not I'm not here to judge. Let's just do what community wants. At the moment, I've sent this information to Linux Foundation. They will now send, I don't remember the English word for it, but like official query, like official letter to different locations. Oh, sorry, to different locations in Barcelona to figure out costs and availability of different locations. They had plenty of them on the list, so I'm not even sharing it because they were like they also had on the list all the different locations that we had in the question to the community, so like Athens and others. So let's just wait for them. I hope next week we will have something, and we will definitely ask especially folks from the community that are in Barcelona or know Barcelona well. We're gonna ask you to share your opinion on the locations that Linux Foundation proposes, because you know better. Like on their offer, it might look nice that there's some nice hotel, whatever, with conference room, but you might know that it maybe is in a bad location that is not really nice to go to.
Yeah, regarding that, I'm happy to help on this.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Everything we need, so I'm happy to do it.
Perfect. The CFP form, it's almost ready. So I asked them to fix some bits and pieces in the form because there were some mistakes. So they already sent it for update. So I hope this week we can share publicly a forum where people can submit their talks to the event. And last but not least, please, if you want to be involved in the conference, just follow this discussion that I sent in the chat, where we have a list of all the to-do items that we work on to get the conference in place. So, like, to summarize, the most important for you is, like, when I'll ask publicly for an opinion on the locations, please engage. And when we will share CFP link, please, like, help spread the news, share with as many people as possible, because the more submissions we have for the talks, the nicer the event will be. So before I jump into another item from the agenda, any questions to the conference? And by the way, hi Sumit. Like, Sumit just wrote hello to all of us in YouTube chat. Async API mentorship, not much to share. Rather want to inform you that we have a live stream dedicated to Q&A about Async API mentorship. So just folks, if you're interested, come join on Thursday. And that's it. Like, we still don't have so there's still one spot left. So from the voting of the TSC, one of the ideas that was selected was from a maintainer from CUDA, but we still don't have much news from him. He has some personal issues at the moment, but hopefully, so I talked with his friend today, and hope everything will be okay next week. But yeah, remember to join the live stream if you're interested, and you're definitely a mentee or mentor. Async API ambassador program. Yeah, just want to again share the link to the shape of the program. We are pretty close to submit it to the TSC for voting to get a decision if the program is approved, because it will of course generate some costs. So we need to know if we can, like, spend money on it. And we have also, like, if you're interested, like, also let us know. We're having a discussion there about the swag designs for ambassadors. But that's just one of the topics around ambassador program. Any questions to this? No questions. Another one, just information, because we started a few weeks ago Google's like Async API at Google Season of Docs. We had a lot of participants there, like 6 people. And like, we noticed that many of participants need a kind of onboarding to Async API, and we still don't. And like, so what it means, like, basically we don't have all the needed documentation on asyncAPI.com. That's why we participate in the Google Season of Docs. But yeah, so people can actually start writing docs that are missing. They first need to get onboarded to the project. So I'll try to do my best here. I'll organize a kind of workshop. The idea is to do it in 3 parts, because the workshop might take 3 hours. So we're just gonna do 3 live streams, 1 hour each, because 3 hours in a row, it's gonna be super boring. And even 1 hour to be focused during the workshop, it's a challenge, especially online. So just remember, like, tomorrow we have a meeting and we have this first part of the Async API onboarding. If you don't need to be onboarded, still have a look, because I would definitely take some advantage from your feedback, like use your feedback. Now, because I'm talking about these meetings all the time, just reminder, I'm just gonna send you a link in the chat. All these meetings, they are always listed here. And there are details how to get subscribed and get information about them. And last but not least, so to give you some context, some time ago, like 1,000 years ago, before Christ, so actually, like whenever we talk about Async API spec, there's from time to time there's this question pops up, like how much do we really grow? How many more users we have, and how is Async API actually being adopted by the world? And there, like I think last year, there was an idea that we could try to track the adoption of the spec by tracking how many users use Async API, a JSON schema for Async API specification. So there's this, Visual Studio Code or like JetBrains or like basically whatever IDE. They support this concept of schema store. So schema store, it's basically a store of schemas that you can have for different different schemas. So there, like for example, if you know GitHub Actions and you write your workflow for your GitHub action, so this GitHub action is basically a YAML file that is a superset of JSON, and you can specify a JSON schema for this workflow file by specifying which fields are allowed or not. The same we do with Async API. So we specify which properties can be provided in Async API file, which not. And many different other tools like OpenAPI and others, they all have their schemas because it's just much easier to validate such machine readable documents. And there's this one schema store, one place where all these schemas are provided. And we provided our schemas, Async API schemas there as well. And thanks to Sergio that is today on the call, we also, I'm not going to go too much in technical details because I think it deserves a separate article, because it's because I think many people would like to mimic what we are doing here with the adoption. But yeah, in short, we basically technically we expose the schemas that we store on GitHub, but we in the schema store we do not register the link to GitHub raw data, but we do it through a asyncAPI.com domain, which is managed by Netlify. So we can basically track how many people request access to JSON schema, and to gather the data and know how many people request for access to JSON schema. We have not Netlify, but we have New Relic. And that's it if it comes to technical details, which is, I guess, more confusing than if I would not share it. But the most important is, let me show you maybe on the picture. Can you see the picture?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, normally the initial dashboard that Sergio provided, it's here, but I'm not gonna, again, it's too soon to share more details. The most important is that so far, it looks like the idea we had will work. So for example, what you can see here, what we can read from this simple pie chart is that over the last 24 hours, 412 users requested a JSON schema file. Now, what does it tell us if it comes to the adoption? It again requires still some further investigation from our side, but I already checked the implementation on VS Code. So for example, VS Code users, and let me show you, do I have some async API file here so I can just give me a second. I'm gonna show you the example. Yeah. Okay. So we have async API file, right? And for the async API file that is a YAML file, I have a Red Hat plugin for YAML. And the plugin, what it does, you can see here for now, like it just says, I'm not going to investigate why, but it just says that there's no JSON schema. But basically how it works is that if everything would still work with the solution that we are working on, the plugin would download the async API JSON schema, and thanks to this, I would have auto completion while editing the YAML file. So the just thanks to the JSON schema that would be fetched by the plugin, I would be able to see where I have errors in my async API file, and when I would type, I don't know, like I would create a new document from scratch and I would type info, it would auto suggest me like what additional properties under info I have, right? And we know that in VS Code, it works this way, that per installation, schema is fetched only once. So it's not, so when we, for example, let's assume that 412 users are all VS Code users, then we can say that it's not that over last 24 hours, only 400 users, only 412 users used JSON schema. What we learn from here is that 412 new users started using async API and JSON schema, because the JSON schema is fetched only once and it's cached in the VS Code instance, and it's invalidated by ETAG. So only when we release some update to the JSON schema, that would require a given VS Code installation to, again, fetch the new JSON schema. So more or less, we can relate on this data like that if we accumulate, like, let's say, all the fetch information from the entire year, we know that the community grew by this number, more or less. Of course, it can't be real, like we can't rely on one-to-one. It's still approximate, because like if we will update the JSON schema a few times a year, then of course ETAG changes, and then it means that some duplicates will appear. But yeah, that's for now what how it looks like from the tracking the adoption. It's not there are still some errors we're facing, like recently the JSON schema for async API was went through a let's say radical restructuring that is at the moment causing some issues, because like the plugin in VS Code is the referencing references a bit differently than it should. So we need to investigate how to fix it. Also looks like the plugin does not handle properly fetching of different versions of the schema, unless that's already fixed, Sergio, because I know you had PR opened. No, okay.
No, the PR is not open yet. There is an issue I created to work on,
Okay.
and with all the steps we have to follow for fixing it. And regarding the other issue, I got more info about it, and well, I will probably create an issue later, but I have already a fix.
You mean for the referencing, right?
No, for the reference, no, that's something we don't know. The other
okay.
issue that we were talking about yesterday, and you mentioned like a few minutes ago.
The versioning, you mean?
Yeah, the new restructuring we did in the schemas, that we are fetching some definitions files that we shouldn't, or we thought we shouldn't. But yeah, there are tons of things there. So if you are interested on this, you can reach me or reach Lucas or reach the issues I will share with you later on Slack.
And you can see here, like, yeah, again, something to clarify still, but you can see that here in this async API file, it through the schema store, it figured to the JSON schema. So to get it here in my VS Code instance, it had to be fetched. But yeah, as you can see, there are still some errors. So the auto-completion and validation do not fully work. Especially that I put some bad words in Polish and it's not underlined as an error. But yeah, anyway,
what is that word?
What?
What is the word?
Which word?
Oh, never mind.
No, it's not that bad. It's just an it's S basically.
Okay.
But that's the most typical word that Polish developers use when console log, and that was kind of console log. So just a heads up, the work is happening. So I mean, even though it's not yet working as we expect, I'm personally super excited about this tracking that we can get with this solution. And yeah, as I said, like, I think that once we manage it to work, I think other communities would like to mimic it. But yeah.
Yeah, I had a chat with Ben from JSON Schema that they are like they are asking me for writing a blog post on their blog.
Okay.
So they can share as well. But as you said, once everything works. Sorry, Missy.
Oh, sorry. What was the definition slice of the pie for again? I don't know if you already mentioned that, but
yeah. So the like the async API schema, it's async API JSON schema, or differently, JSON schema for async API. It's one file. Every version has one, but then it also references a separate files, like definitions for different parts. Like it's like basically the schema is destructured into different files, like because it's like it's better to maintain JSON schema this way. So this 6 fetches, I don't remember. I don't think we know where it's coming from. But thanks
manually
to
testing things.
Yeah.
Basically, us.
Okay.
But basically, they are not counted, so we don't take them into consideration because they are not directly referenced in the schema store. Yeah. So
gotcha.
Schema store is the number that we're looking at.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But we also like there's a lot of testing still needed, especially if somebody knows Java and wants to help. So I was able to track in VS Code how the caching of the schema store works. But if somebody can take some time and figure out how it works in the, I think the JetBrains is in Java, right? Because only Java developers use it, so it has to be written in Java. So if somebody can help and figure out how they implement schema store, but I believe like logically it would be everyone should do it the same. So don't fetch it every time, but just cache it and invalidate by ETAG, nothing else. But yeah, we should check that as well. So basically, when somebody asks us like how realistic the number is, we should say, okay, like it's not 100% what is the reality, but we know how the mechanism works. So what we can more or less assume from the number. And I'm going to send you a link also to Schema Store. If you're interested. Because it's interesting that it's like all the IDEs use it, but it's completely driven by the community. And I think at the beginning, not sure if it's still the case, but the idea, the owner of the idea, I think, was paying for the server that was hosting the files on his own. Not sure how it works now. So something that we have to also look at maybe and find some good sponsor for the project. Okay, so that's all from my items on the agenda. Any questions from your side, folks? Just unmute and speak up. If you're trying to speak, you're muted. No? Only 30 minutes this time. Cool. So the summary is like, so Sergio, you're going to write the article about
Oh, yeah, sure. But I'm going to be off next week. So yeah.
No, I don't think we're going to, I don't think we're going to solve all the issues.
No. But yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm really willing to do it. In fact, willing is the good word. I don't know if it's positive. Okay. Thanks, Missy.
Yeah, it was very positive. And we have it recorded, so you can't say no now.
Oh, it's fine.
Perfect. Okay, and so I have a question because Miss is here. Another question on the record. How is the design on the mascot work? So I remember last time the UFO.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's basically like, I think that, well, me and Fran will have like one-to-ones and then we'll talk about it, but then it gives me like more ideas. Then we're just kind of like throwing out random ideas, basically. Like, I don't know, like, I guess some people are like, we shouldn't have like an alien mascot because it's so basic. And then Fran had an idea where it was like, oh, maybe we should just have like one human mascot that we could put into like different scenes. Like, it doesn't have to be like a theme, so to speak. But I mean, to be honest, I kind of stopped on that effort for now because there are other things that I should be focused on. So yeah, but if anybody has any other ideas about that, I'm open to them because we're kind of still in like a draft phase of that. It's not like nothing's really like set in stone, I guess. What is Akshat saying? If I remember, Lucas suggested something about mascot in chat or something earlier. What was that?
I don't recall. Like today during the live stream? No. So like I personally loved the so I remember the initial version of the alien that I saw. I was like, no. But then when I saw the this as a, you know, as a full label, like with this rings and the UFO, I loved it. So just suggestion from my side, maybe just ask the community like we did with the conference. I mean, because like in Slack, so the thing what we noticed, like in Slack, when you ask pretty limited group of people that are close to the project.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as you said, like everyone has an opinion. So then let's just maybe choose the opinion that is the most accepted, like we did with the Swag store or the conference. Just a hint, like, because I guess that you might be just discouraged. It's like if you hear so many different opinions, like then you basically choose to work on something different than.
Yeah, I mean, I think
like
it
this.
depends on how far we want to go with it, because there are plenty of mascots out there. Like, I mean, for example, I mean, if you look at Postman's mascot, it's very like basic shapes, like very simple, whatever, like kind of outline style. And I think that we could go with something like that, which is kind of what was, you know, with the alien mascots, is kind of like what direction we were going in. But then you could also get more like stylistic with character, you know, mascots. You could go super far with it. And I think that there are definitely professionals out there that we could hire to come up with like something super specific, if that's what we want to go, if we want to go in that direction. But I guess as far as my abilities go, it's pretty basic shapes, like graphics kind of thing, like what we showed with the alien with the UFO. So yeah, I guess it just depends on what everybody is looking for. And I mean, what are we trying to do with these mascots is like the number one question. Like, are they going to have a use on anything besides swag items, or is it going to be mostly that, or are we going to use them on the website? Or, you know, it's like questions like that, I think could be beneficial to know before we like finalize a specific design. I know that Barbania was talking about we could change, or we could take them and put them into like plush toys too. So I think that's like important to know, because, you know, something super like artistic might not work for a plush toy. So yeah, I don't know. Not to say that we should do the whole art direction based on this plush toy, but you know.
And plush toy is just one nice thing, but I don't think it should like determine if we should do artistic or not. So it's just nice to have.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep chatting and see. But because like from the swag perspective, and I think it's super important topic, because like if we're gonna spend so much money on buying things, I think it's I mean, I like the alien, so I would definitely love to have a sticker on my laptop with this alien, but we need first to have it official, and then we can order, right? Or I will just order a few on my own, and we'll do the underground work.
Yeah. I was also, we were also like thinking, do we need Eve and Chan or just Eve? I know that was like a topic we were talking about, like if two mascots is overkill, or if we just need one of them. But, and then I was thinking after that was brought up that it might be better to have both of them, because then it kind of signifies the community that we have, like more than one person like working together kind of thing. That's just a thought that I had about that. And I also think Chan is kind of cute, so I would hate to just ditch him from the equation.
Like I like the most the names, Even Chan, and
Right.
how it relates to the spec and Even Driven. So that's why I always loved the idea of having two mascots. But yeah, again, everyone has an opinion.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, we do want to make something that everybody likes. So, but you know, art can be so subjective, and yeah, everyone can have an opinion. But I think if we just move forward with something simple, eventually there'll be recognition to that, and people will just get used to it kind of thing. So even people who hate it might end up liking it in the future. So
yeah,
that's art for you. Hashtag art.
Oh, really? So there's so for folks watching recording, you don't have access to chat in Zoom. So there's a comment from Akshat. I first time saw Łukasz discussing about designs and its elements so openly. Yes, I'm known to be an expert in design.
Design is my passion.
Exactly. That's my favorite hashtag. Okay, so any other topics for today, folks? Three, two, one. Okay, so thanks a lot for joining. The next meeting again in 2 weeks. In different time zone. You remember that every 2 weeks we have at different time the meeting. And we're monitoring because like recently we're getting not many people joining in the morning. I mean, in the Europe morning. So might be that in, yeah, but I imagine that
it's like 4 a.m. for me,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, we're checking out if it still makes sense to have this different hour every 2 weeks. So yeah, stay tuned and let's see how it goes. And sending from Akshat good night to everyone because it's night for him. Thanks. Cheers.
bye.